So, ladies, being disrespectful to your man is the quickest path for a man to lose his attraction to you and for him to start emotionally checking out of the marriage. And once he replaces the idea of the woman that he thought you were with the woman who you actually are, when his brain makes that mental switch, it's going to be very difficult for him to ever love you the same way as he did before.
Here's the hard truth. Men don't just fall out of love. They shut down, they hold it in, and once that emotional door closes, it's nearly impossible to open that door again. Now, feminists and progressives may call this old fashioned, but God calls it wisdom. What am I talking about? Well, you're going to see how this idea of how men feel emasculated and are basically feel attacked or undermined by their wives in a disrespectful manner truly harms the relationship, harms the marriage. Now, if this makes you bristle, ask yourself why. Because when respect comes up, some wives immediately get defensive. Even the things I've just said can lead to a defensive posture, right? Tension occurs, and it's bracing themselves to hear something to almost want to fight back as they're listening. And I hope you're not one of those because I think what you're going to hear will be very helpful to you. Because even though the progressives and the feminists, um, push back and what they say about this being old fashioned and all the different things, the Bible says the opposite. Respect is your husband's fuel. Take it away, and you're starving him. Unintentionally, though it may be, it starves him from the thing he needs the most from you. But she didn't stop there. So let's see what else she had to say about this somewhat sensitive topic. Let's watch.
Respect is a core need for men. In fact, respect is equal to or greater than love. Essentially, they're the same thing in a man's mind. So when a woman disrespects her husband over an extended period of time, he translates that into, she doesn't love me.
Maybe as you're listening to her, possibly, and again, I hope you're not one of those that may begin to, even in your mind, attack her or say things about her that even you don't even know who she is. But sometimes when truth is being told or something is being called out that and I can, you might not want to hear, right? Or some wives don't want to hear. They go from a different direction and attack, and they will say all kinds of things to try to, to minimize and to neutralize the message. But sometimes we have to understand that, like myself and like her, we're just a messenger trying to speak truth into power. And it's more for the idea of making marriages work and last because we are seeing a demise in that area. Don't you? Haven't you? See, culture says if your husband needs respect, that's his problem, right? That's his problem. But God says something totally different. The Bible says in Ephesians 5, verse 33, the wife must respect her husband. Respect isn't his ego trip, as some would believe or have you think. It's oxygen. It's how he feels cared for and loved. Nothing fuels a husband like respect. Nothing empties his tank faster than disrespect. And maybe you're seeing that in your own relationship, or you're seeing that in another close relationship to you, where there's a disrespect taking place. Or you may hear a husband speak about that. And you're wondering, why is that so important? Well, you're gonna at least one thing take away from this video, the importance of that. Because if you want to see a man deflated and his ego, let's just say his tank gets emptied, be disrespectful to him. I can tell you this as a man, myself and a husband, been married for 40 years since 1985. And I have worked with thousands of spouses, many of them wives, just maybe just like you. And so I know what it is when I feel disrespected by my wife. I can tell you when that happens, I go into, as most men do, shut down mode. And it's for more reasons than one. And you'll hear in this video why some men do that. And when they do go there, the consequence or consequences of that. So it's not about ego or a need to grow up or pull up your big boy pants. It's not about that. Let's forget those childish kind of responses. You can spin it however you want, but I can tell you that wives who continue to disrespect their husbands will one day wake up and he has checked out. More to say on that a bit later. Hey, by the way, if you are new to this channel, my name is Kingsley Grant. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist and a certified relationship coach and follower of Jesus. And as I mentioned before, I've worked with thousands of spouses, many just like you, over the last 2 decades and counting. And I tell you straight, even if your husband isn't perfect, disrespect is never the road to a better marriage. And I understand sometimes it's like as a wife may feel she needs to disrespect him to get him, his attention or have him straighten up or have him behave. It doesn't work. It does not work. It doesn't matter where you might see him or the things he may have done. He still wants to be to be respected. And I'll tell you more about that. And you'll see as this lady continue to share, and she's making a lot of sense. And well, I'll let her speak for herself, and you can also decide. And let me hear if you're agreeing, if this is making sense, and you haven't subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe. And if you're liking or being, bristling because of what I'm sharing, more reason why you need to subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. And also, let me hear from you. Let me hear your thoughts as you go through this with me as well. So, while I've got your attention, if you have not yet subscribed, as I mentioned, please go ahead and do so. And also, if you would like to get my new booklet I have, it's called Reconnect, a quick guide for wives who feel like they're doing it all. I want to ask you to, you can get it for free if you go to buildyourhappiermarriage.com/waitlist and put your email and your name there. You'll be on the wait list for the upcoming um, Joyful Marriage Quest, a 6-week biblical and evidence-based coaching journey. But you'll also be invited into my webinar, how to reconnect with your husband without feeling like you're the only one trying. Now, speaking about reconnecting, that is what will be needed when your husband feels disrespected. You are going to want to reconnect. And here's the thing, your charm and your sexy body won't be enough. It may work or used to work, but not when he is checked out or pulled back. Actually, let us hear what this lady says about that very thing. Let's listen.
Men have been dealing with contentious women for centuries. And we know this because we can find Bible verses such as Proverbs 21:19, where it says it is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman. Like, envision that. A wilderness, it's hot, it's barren, there's nothing for miles except for a few cacti, maybe an occasional rattlesnake or desert mouse. And yet, even in the bleakness and the isolation of all that, it is still preferable than living with an angry or contentious woman. That's pretty hardcore.
Hmm. Your thoughts so far? What's going through your mind even right now? See, because most men won't cry or complain. They'll just go quiet. Not because they don't care, but because they're trying to keep from exploding. Many times, wives don't understand that when a man pulls back and goes quiet, he's trying to regulate. He knows if he allows himself to get carried away in the moment, he may say things or do things he will later regret. And so, for many men, putting back and remain silent is our go-to. Proverbs 17, verse 27 says, the one who has knowledge uses words with restraint. There it is, right? And so he's practicing this very thing. But here's the danger. When he pulls back, he's not just taking space, he's protecting himself from you and basically, like I've just said, doing things and saying things he may later regret. How many men have done that in the heat of the moment because they feel disrespected or undermined? But it doesn't have to be this way. What may surprise you is how simple it is for you to change course. Don't believe me? Okay, let's hear what she had to say about this very, very thing. Let's listen.
So he just kind of wakes up to this reality and loses his attraction for you. It just evaporates.
Hmm. We've been sold a cultural lie that respect is earned, not given. But marriage doesn't work like that, as you may have been recognizing or at least hearing coming through in what I've said and what she's also saying as well. Respect is not a bonus, right, for perfect husbands. Oh, you're perfect. Let me give you a bonus of respecting you. No, it's a command. It's a command. We read the scriptures earlier. Wives must respect their husbands. You say, oh yeah, what about the husbands? Yes, you're right. There's also a command for him to love his wife, right? But many times, I can tell you, a husband, if he feels respected, he will give love much, much more easier, much, much more easier. And we could get in the argument of who goes first, and we can get all in that, but this is not the point I'm trying to make. Proverbs 21, verse 19 says, it's better for a man to camp out in a desert with rattlesnakes and cactus than live with a contentious wife. That's one translation. Imagine, it's better for a man, right, to camp out in a desert. And you heard what the lady had to say as well, didn't you? That's how serious God takes this whole idea. Now, as a therapist, I can tell you, I cannot tell you how many wives come to me or to see me about feeling disconnected from their husbands. And she will then make the case of all she is doing, and yet it's not making a difference. It's like talking to a wall, she will say. But what some wives don't realize is that they created the very thing they're now freaking out about. He no longer sees her the way he used to, simply because she, in more ways than one, have sought to emasculate him, undermine him, disrespected him. And here's how this lady continued to unpack and framed this part of the conversation. Let's watch.
That the woman senses a great change and she starts getting worried. So then she will start stepping up. She'll become nicer and sweeter, more loving and more affectionate, making sure he's taken care of and doing all the things that made him fall for her in the first place. But it's too late.
Here's the heartbreak. When a wife finally realizes she's been disrespectful, she scrambles because now he's pulling away. He's shut down. He's barely interacting with her. And she's freaking out, wondering, is there somebody else? And on, right? And she may raise those issues. And then just simply saying, I just don't want to. to deal with you or deal with it. Is that right? No, I'm not advocating to say that's right, but that tends to happen. And so now she began to scramble to fix it. But he's already checked out. And deep down, he doesn't trust that approach anymore. He's seen it. And now he no longer trusts it because why would he want to trust a something like that when he knows what he's gone through and what he had to put up with? Respect is not about pretending. It's about choosing every day to build your husband up, not tear him down. Because once he's gone, and dear wife, please listen, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to take you behind the curtain and show you what happens with your husband that you may never know. And no other woman can tell you what it is for us, what we go through when this happens. She can't. She doesn't know herself. I don't matter what, doesn't matter what her the labels are, right? Or the letters, that's what I'm looking for, the letters behind her name. It doesn't matter. Unless she's a man and she's not, she won't know. And so I'm trying to help you understand something that you would never understand. So please, I'm on your side. Okay. So once he's gone emotionally, winning him back takes a miracle. Do I believe in miracles? Yes, I do. Have I seen miracles like this? Yes, I've seen it because it's possible. I would not be doing the work that I do, and I would not be having my joyful marriage quest, the 6 week biblical and evidence-based coaching journey to have wives just like you to experience a much more satisfying and fulfilling and sustained peace and joy kind of marriage. I would not be doing that. I would not be spending my time doing videos like this if I didn't believe that you things can turn around. I do believe that. So here's what I want to say, dear wife. You can't nag your husband into loving you more. You can't. But you can respect him into becoming the man God called him to be. So if your husband is a high achiever or an entrepreneur, the pressure of succeeding and providing for you and the family can be draining. And you may hear and that from him or see it in him. It can be draining. And I'm telling you from firsthand experience, because we're constantly thinking how we can make things work. And we're constantly devising plans because we want you, dear wife, to succeed. We want you to have, I mean, I cannot tell you how many men like myself, deep in our hearts, we want to give our wives basically everything we possibly can. A lot of pressure, a lot of pressure. The last thing that we need, or your husband needs, is a home where it becomes another draining experience. He has enough of that. So, dear wife, your respect doesn't erase his flaws, right? It strengthens him to work on them. It strengthens him to work on them. And so here's what I say: embracing the mind of Christ is the fastest and most impactful way for you, dear wife, and for your marriage to experience a 180, no matter where it's at right now. That is what I believe is a game changer to allow you to reconnect with your husband. That's why I said earlier, it takes a miracle, and I believe in miracles. So let me encourage you to do your part to find out how to do that. And I can help you with that. And that's why I've encouraged you, and I want to once again encourage you to join my free webinar, How to Reconnect with Your Husband Without Feeling Like You're the Only One Trying. And you can sign up at buildyourhappiermarriage.com/waitlist. And in doing so, I'll send you my free booklet, Reconnect, a quick guide for wives who feel like they're doing it all. I think that might be helpful. Don't just, would you agree? I think it would be. So I want to have you, as we kind of wrap things up here, I want to have you wrestle with this question. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments about this very question. Does your husband need to earn respect from you? And if so, why? Let me hear, let's have a conversation about that. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Maybe you might be able to convince me otherwise. I don't think so, but let's let's see what might happen. So drop your thoughts below and let's have a conversation. And again, hit subscribe, the thumbs up, and before you go, I want you to watch this video right here. Okay, this video right here. It will help you build a more joyful, Christ-centered, happier, peaceful marriage. Okay, so thank you for taking the time to watch, to listen. Would you please share this video with at least one other person, one other wife like yourself, or to a couple? I would really appreciate that. God bless you, and I'll see you on the next video. God bless and peace out.